Many of you guys were having a challenge trying to figure out this whole table thing, but let me see if I can explain this thing or show you really how, I don't want to say easy, but it's not as complicated as you may think. First of all, what I did was I took the liberty of changing the basic paragraph style to Myriad condensed because that's the font that we want to use, and we don't have to stick to the basic paragraph style that's already there. We can change it to anything that we want. So if you notice right here, I changed, typically it's Minion Pro, but I've already changed it to Myriad Pro condensed at 9 point. So whenever I bring anything in from Word, it's going to automatically pick up that default. All right, so let's take a look at this. I am going to do a basic layout. All right, not going to be this size, but to show you how easy or less complicated this whole table scenario is. So let's take a look and see what it is we're trying to accomplish. So if you notice here, this is the sample that we were going by. If you notice, it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. That's what it looks like. But in reality, we have 8 columns. We have 8 columns. So let's see how we can solve this problem. So I'm going to come back here. And again, I'm not doing this to size. I'm trying to do this thing pretty quickly so you can see how this whole thing works. So what I'm going to do right now, and let me just move this over so you can see the tools. All right, so I'm going to create a text frame. All right, and then what I'm going to do is once I've created this text frame, I'm going to drop a table inside this text frame. So I'll go to table, I'll say insert table, all right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say give me 10 rows, all right, and 8 columns, and I'll say okay. All right, now that I've done that, I'm going to open this table up proportionally. So I put my finger on the shift key, and I just click and drag, and you can see all the columns are the same height, and of course by default the columns are the same width. All right, so next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, all right, to my text. All right, so we pull this down. I'm going to click on my text, and I'm going to start here as a subdivision, and I'm going to grab the first 10 listings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to copy that, all right, and then when I come over here uh, to my InDesign document, I am going to create a text frame on the side and paste it in there. And as you can see, I took it from Word and it automatically converted it to the Myriad uh, condensed. All right, so now that I have that, I'm going to do Command A, so I highlight all of this text, and then I'm going to say table, and I'm going to convert the text to a table. So now, using the tab as the column delimiter, I'll say OK. And as you can see, I have 2 columns right here. So I'm going to grab this information right here. I'm going to copy it. Actually, I just cut it. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to come here, and I'm going to select 2 columns, all right? 2 rows, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I'm going to paste. All right, so I have all my information in there. Okay, let's go and do the next one. All right, and again, I'm just taking information very quickly to show you how this works. So I'll go to the next 10. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to copy that, come over here, all right, and I'm going to um, paste it in this frame off to the side because I want to convert it to a table first. All right. So now I'll do a Command A, and then I'm going to say table. I'll say convert text to table. All right. Again, tab delimiter. I grab all of this, copy it. All right, all of this, and then paste it. Okay, so we have that. And then I'll just do 3 of these so you can see how this whole thing works. All right, I did that. Get that out of there. All right. Next up, I'll get the next 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Copy that. Come over here. Paste that. Again, I'm going to say, all right, let me make a table out of that table. Convert text to table. We'll say OK. There it is. Grab all of it. All right. I'll cut it. Then I'll just paste it in here like so. All right, so now we have this information right here. All right, so now I'm going to preview this so I can see what we're looking at. All right, so as you can see, I have 6 columns already populated, but really in reality, I want to make that 3 columns, not 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the first 2 columns, all right, and then this little grid right here, I am going to just highlight the line in the middle, the stroke in the middle, and make that 0. That's the key. All right. Same thing here. I'm going to grab these 2 columns. All right. Make that line in the middle, make that 0. I'm going to do the same thing here. Grab that, make that line in the middle 0. All right. So now when we take a look at it, you can see we have these 3 columns, but in reality, there's 6 columns. So let's take this one here, do the same thing. All right, even though there's no content there, let's just make that 0. And then, so now you can see we have what looks like 4 columns, but really it's 8 columns. But we're just going to work with these 3 or 6 columns that are right here with content. So now that we've done that, let me bring it back. Because they're in their own column, watch this. I'm going to put my finger on the shift key, all right? And when I have the double arrow, I'm just going to take that and move them, the information, closer to the description, all right? And because they're in their own column, they're already perfectly aligned, okay? Let me preview that. Looks good. So now all I need to do is change the color. Real easy. I'm going to take my mouse over the top of the first column, highlight that. Let me move this over so you can see. I'm going to come over here. I will select the T for type, of course, that's all the text. Make that blue. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Make that blue. Then I'll do the same thing here. Make that blue. As you can see, all right, it's so easy. I mean, we did this very, very quickly. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the content, and instead of having it aligned to the top, I'm going to make it aligned to the middle. So I have it, the whole table contents selected. Go up to table, drop down to cell options, slide over to text, and instead of saying align to top, I'll say align to center. And I'll say OK. And then once I've done that, I can put my finger on the shift key, and I can make these rows even narrower. All right, and look at that. Voila. So hopefully this helps a little bit. It helps you to understand how, I don't want to say easy, but how non-difficult. It's not as difficult as you may think. So that's the exercise. Hopefully this helped. And then the next time you have an assignment like this, you'll be able to work with it without having to use tabs and spaces and all kinds of unnecessary stuff.